Finding zeros. Please take notes. Finding zeros mean look and see where the graph crosses the x-axis. So please underline that. So crossing the x-axis. So finding zeros, there should be ES here, zeros. So when you see the word zeros, it means y equals 0. That's the function, 0 of a function. Another word for zeros is roots. So when they ask you to find roots, R-O-O-T-S, they're asking you to find zeros of a function. Also, another word for finding zero is x-intercepts. X-intercepts are 0 because y equals 0 on those points. And another word for zeros is solution. So please copy these four. These all mean 0. And this means you look at and see where the graph crosses the x-axis. So let's find zeros of each graph. So look at these three graphs. Where are zeros of the function? So if you look here and here, this is like continuing. Actually, it's a continuing like a U-curve. These points are zeros, okay? These are called x-intercept, where this graph is crossing the x-axis. This is the graph part, okay? And this is your x right here. So what are these 2 points right here? This point here and this point here. So the zeros of a function is, right here you count, this is your x, so -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. Look at the dots. So x is -5 over here. This is right here, that location. And then what's this? So you look at the dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's 7. This means -5, 0, 7, 0. So this is your x-intercept, and this is also called zeros of the function. This is also called the roots or solution. So let's take a look at the second graph. Where are zeros of this function? Where does this graph cross the x-axis? So what are these 2 points here? So here you have, on the left side, you have 2 zeros here, 2 x-intercepts. -1, -2, -3. So write -3 here. And 1, 2, 2. This means -3, 0. Let's write that. This means 2, 0. These are x-intercept, or also called zeros. So zeros means x-intercept, okay? Then what's this right here? So you have 1 x-intercept there, right here, this point. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Look at the dots. So that's 8. So your 0 is 8. When I say 0, talk about x-intercept. Y is 0. So let's look at the bottom. Given the factors, find the zeros of each function, then sketch each graph. So what you're going to do is, first, you're going to solve for x. You're going to have 2 values for x because you have 2 x's here. So I'm going to ask you to draw a line. 1 for x plus 4 equals 0. This one is x minus 7 equals 0. You need to set these two, this one with the 0, this one with the 0, because 0 of a function means y equals 0. So you put the 0 in the y position, and then you're going to solve for x. What plus 4 equals 0? You subtract 4 on each side, and x equals -4. -4 plus 4 gives you 0. What minus 7 gives you 0? 7, right? You add 7 on each side. X is 7. So these two are the x-intercept over here. So you go to x-intercept and you put a point on -4. So you count the dots here. -1, each dot is 1. -1, -2, -3, -4, and put a dot here, and then go to 7. This is +7, go here. This is negative, this is positive. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Count the dots. So that's 4 and that's 7. Okay? And then you're going to go to sketch this. So I'm going to have you go to, before you sketch it, go to your graphing calculator. So go to your graphing calculator and press y equals something. And then you're going to press parentheses x plus 4, close parentheses, and then open parentheses again, x minus 7, close parentheses. So you have to just type in what you see. Make sure you put parentheses here, and then hit graph right here. And then look at the graph. You see this point is -4, this point is 7. Okay, that's their zeros, which is y-intercept, or we call also roots. So right here, go back to your notes, and then you're going to draw what you see on the graphing calculator over here. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, -4 I mean, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then you're gonna actually graph this thing. You have to go through that like this. What you see there. So on the graphing calculator, you see something like this. Doesn't have to be perfect. So that's how it looks like, right, on the graphing calculator. So I need you to write the final answer is x equals -4 and +7. Okay, so let's try the second one. So you're going to do x minus 2 equals 0, x minus 5 equals 0. So take this equal to 0, equal to 0. That means y equals 0. So what is x? What minus 2 is 0? So add 2, always the inverse. X is 2. And then plus 5. X is 5. So you just go 2 here, +2, and then +5, put a dot here, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, put the dot. And then you're going to draw, sketch this like this. Okay? So if you type it in the calculator, go to your calculator, and you can type this in right here, just not this part, just this part, just up to there. Just type that in and hit graph, and you will get this kind of looking thing. So you can use it to check that. So let's check that on the calculator. You're going to go to y equal and just hit clear what we had previously. And you're going to do parentheses x minus 2, close parentheses, parentheses x minus 5, close parentheses. Everybody type that in. And just hit graph. As you can see, that's what we drew on the notes. This point is +2, this is +5. That's your x-intercept, which is called zeros. Please turn the paper over, and we're going to do the next problem. Given the equation, find the zeros of the function, then sketch the graph. First, you're going to factor. So please highlight here, factor. Second, you're going to set each factor to 0. And then we're going to sketch over here, okay? So let's try this. So we learn how to factor trinomial like this. ax plus b, ax squared plus bx minus c. That's the format. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for GCF. Put a 1 here. There's no GCF. So I'm just going to go straight to factor. So what you're going to do is a times c, which is 1 times -12. Make sure you do -12. That's -12. Do the x method. Look at the middle part. Make sure you do -4. Write -4 here. And then you do times and then the plus. So what two numbers can I multiply to get negative 12? But when I add them, I get negative 4. That's going to be negative 6 and positive 2. When I multiply these two, I get negative 12, but when I add them, I get negative 4. So we're going to use those two to expand only the middle part. So the rest you copy. So you're going to write negative 6x plus 2x, because these two gives you negative 4x, minus 12. This is how you factor ax squared plus bx plus c. Now, after you do this, you're going to write equals 0, okay? And you're going to factor the first two. What do these two? By grouping. This is called grouping because you have two group. Factor by grouping. So x squared and then minus 6x, their GCF is 1x. And then you're going to write another x because x times x is x squared. And then you're going to write minus 6 here because x times negative 6 is negative 6x. And then you're going to take the next one and you're going to factor. So 2 and negative 12, they have 6 in common. So you're going to put plus sign here because you have plus sign here. So write 6 and then you're going to write, not 6, 2, sorry. So you have their GCF is 2. So you have 2 and then x minus 6 equals 0. Make sure you write 0 here. So you notice that they're inside the same, x minus 6, x minus 6. So you're going to take these two. This is what we did last week. X plus 2 times x minus 6 equals 0. So what we're going to do is you're going to find what x is using 0. So you're going to do x plus 2 equals 0. X minus 6 equals 0. I need to find what x's are. So what plus 2 gives you 0? Negative 2, right? You subtract 2, and x is negative 2. And then you add 6, x is positive 6. So you are done. So those two are the zeros, x-intercept. So you go over here, and since the first one is negative 2, you go to the x-axis and go 1, 2, negative 2, and put a dot there. And the second one is positive 6. You go to the positive side of the x, and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and put a dot like that. And I have to go to the graphing calculator and check how the graph is going to look like. So I'm going to have you go to the graphing calculator and check it. So when you go to the graphing calculator, you're going to plug in just these two right here. X plus 2 parentheses x minus 6. Do that on the graphing calculator and see what kind of graph you get. If you type it in and then hit graph, you're going to get something like this. It looks like something like that. So you're going to sketch it over here. This is your x-intercept. So that means when y is 0, those are your x. So for this particular one, we factor like we always do with grouping. And then after you get the factor, you're going to find what two values for x's are. What is x for this? What is x for that? So negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So the first x is negative 2. And this one is positive 6 because 6 minus 6 is 0. And then you just go here and then you sketch. Let's try number 2. So right here you have ax squared minus bx plus c kind of format. But here you have negative 14 here. So I need to factor this, but I have this number here. I don't know how to factor like that. So when that happens, you're going to actually move this to the other side by adding 14 of the equation. So you got to move that. This negative 14 becomes positive 14. When you move, it becomes inverse. So you're going to write x squared minus 9x. And this needs to go to the left side and plus 14 and make it equal to 0. So we're going to find what x-intercepts are. So you have negative 14, just move it and make it positive 14. The reason why we do that, because so we can factor. So what you're going to do is, there's no GCF because this is 1, negative 9, and 14. So what you do is you're going to do A times C, which is 1 times 14 is 14. through the X method. You see this, make sure you put the